Okay, so it seems like I might, to some degree, be live on Twitter. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Am I live on YouTube, though, is kind of the question. If you're here right now, I have no clue what the hell's going on. This is the first time I've used Streamlabs on my phone, so I'm kind of trying to figure out how it's supposed to go right now. It's a pain. It's a pain and then some. Apparently Streamlabs is not good for the current version of Android as well. So that's sort of annoying, but it is what it is. Damn, that chat is like, Apparently I am live on YouTube. Damn, bro. Now I can't even go back out. Those phone apps are annoying to deal with. Yeah, you're right. They are pretty fucking annoying to deal with. They're pretty damn annoying to deal with. Especially when you zoom out. Especially when you want to zoom out, but you can't. So now you're stuck here messing around. I'm just sitting here like some kind of fucking idiot boomer, you know? Well, there's one. Let's see. Perfect. What's going on, JC Reaper? What's going on, Zachary Vered? How you guys doing today? I am apparently live on YouTube. I don't know if I'm live on Twitter or Twitch. Either way. I kind of just want to get this show on the road, so if we're live on YouTube, that's good enough for me. All right? That's good enough for me. This is my 5,000 subscriber special, if you will. All right, and it's very special. We're very special here. All right, you guys are all special. We're a bunch of special boys. All right. I just want to say thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for real on the real. Thank you all so much. I'm gonna check Twitter just to be sure. Okay, because I really. Like, I am enjoying going live to Twitter. It is nice. I see Bert having a bit of an episode while eating some pizza. It looks like he's that was posted by somebody. I'm still connected to Bluetooth. I will go ahead. I will take that off. I don't know if I'm on Twitter. I want to be on Twitter. You know, Twitter's nice. It's fun. It's fun to stream there. Yeah, well, no, we're good. We're good. Anyway, so let me get back up onto Streamlabs here. Boomer Scott over here trying to figure out how to use this confounded machine, this confounded moving picture machine. How we all doing though, everybody? How we all doing? Seeing a few different people. What's going on, JC, Zachary Vered? All right, I already said hello to you guys, but I'll say it again. Duck Code Breaker. My mommy says I'm special. Me too, pal. Me too. TM70 says BKFC on in 2 minutes. You know, I should really do BKFC cards. I can't believe I didn't think about that sooner. I gotta do fight companion streams for BKFC. It's such. The problem with BKFC though is that there's no like good cards, or it's not that there's no good cards. What I mean is the cards are mostly just nobodies, you know, because the barrier of entry to BKFC is literally just hit the guy you hit the matchmaker up, hit up Nate Shook. That's the barrier of entry to BKFC. So that's not a bad thing necessarily, right? You get dudes, they're hungry, they want a shot, and because of that, they go in there and they fight their hearts out. And because of that, BKFC has a lot of good fights on it. But it's hard to have like dudes that you really follow like that. You know, there's a couple of names I could throw out there that they're guys that I recognize, not dudes that I follow necessarily. But like it's kind of, you know, it can be tough, and that's probably why I didn't think. That's probably why I didn't think to do it before, right? But anyway, Bert was gaslit about a hidden something inside a box fan for like an hour, then got pizza from LaRon. Did LaRon order pizza? That'd be pretty funny. Kid of the day. Yeah. Should I get into kickbox? Dude, should I get into kickboxing? They do free classes. Man, dude, I can't get the fucking chat to not move. Every time a new chat gets sent, it kicks down to the bottom. That's annoying. Should I get into kickboxing? They do free classes every Friday, and I want to learn how to defend myself. Yes, 1,000%. And thank you very much for the congrats, dude. Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Like, get into kickboxing. There's no reason for you not to if you are able to get free classes. Do it 1,000,000%. Do it 1,000,000%, right? Production gave it to him or something to share it with one other person, but all I saw was Bert and Smack eating it. Oh boy. Brandon Wiley, congrats, congrats, much deserved. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. You'll get bottom of the barrel sparring partners though, if there's any. You never know, because chances are that it's like, unless it's like at a YMCA or something like that, chances are it's probably going to be at a gym where there's a bunch of dudes that are like going to be good to go with, right? Chances are that's what's going to happen, excuse me. And yeah, so he might have good sparring partners. Plus, like, I spar with people the first day. The first day I'm sparring, like not me personally. I had my first day a long time ago, but someone's first day with me, they're sparring every time. I just got done with somebody. I see them once a week, and every time that I've seen them, we've sparred, right? It's just the way that it is, right? The way that it is. Anyway, 517. Well, like, oh yeah, 5,170. Yes. Thank you guys so much. Again, thank you guys so much. Nice God rays. Yes, the lights. They're kind of harsh. I'm used to them by now, but when they first got put in, it felt like I was in a dream. Like, they're so imposing. I'm like walking around. But anyway, today, okay, I was going to do a workout stream. I would love to do a workout stream, but there's a couple of things. My shoulder is busted, and I don't think it's a good idea to be doing a bunch of bag work and stuff like that. We are going to be hitting the bag a little bit, but it's not going to be anything crazy. It's not going to be like 3 3-minute rounds, 3 2-minute rounds. It's not going to be something like that, right? It's going to be me demonstrating some stuff. I would still do a workout stream, but the thing is, I think you guys, if you were going to watch me work out, for one thing, like a workout stream, I always was a little iffy about, because I was like, but what if, fucking what if, dude? What if people don't like it? What if people don't like it, right? So there's that piece, but then also I know that if I'm not doing like bag work or like some other stuff like that, chances are somebody is it's just not going to look good on camera. Like, what am I going to do? Go for a jog for however long, and you guys are going to watch that? Like, no, it's not going to happen. So instead, what I'm going to do, all right, I have these papers here. I'm working on a video series. It's going to be, hopefully, I'm going to be able to put it on, not Hulu, geez, Udemy or Skillshare or something else like that, right? Hopefully I'm going to be able to get it on there. If not, I'm going to put it on my Patreon and my YouTube channel for members. The title, I'm still looking for a more permanent title, right? I'm still looking for a more permanent title, but, it is How to Win a Fight When You Don't Know How, all right? And Schlutz McGee says, good afternoon, Scott. My husband is going to love this stream. He's at work right now, but I'll tell him about it. Hey, yeah, definitely. Thank you for letting him know. Is this where you work or a different gym? No, this is where I work. Thank you very much, Tom H, for the congratulations on the 5K. Excuse me. Going to the 5D says, Scott, can you make a video on how many punches does it take to punch a hole through a bag and hit a bag until you punch through it? I would if I could. I would if I could. All right. I don't think I have the time or the energy for that. But anyway, this is how to win a fight when you don't know how. Now, my plan is to read through this whole thing. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages, okay? And it's not, you can see it's not 6 pages like top to bottom. It's all basically bullet points, right? This is basically what I'm going to be standing in front of a camera doing. This is a couple of things. For one thing, you're getting free advice that is worth like hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, if I'm being honest with you. Like if you don't want to go learn martial arts for years and years, and you still want to know how to fight, then what I'm teaching you in here is what you would want to do, right? This right here, this is what you would want to do. Okay, I'm gonna read it all, and I'm gonna show you everything that I'm able to show you. Okay, I'm like, for instance, there's gonna be weapons involved in here, right? I might not have everything at hand, right? Like I have a chair that I can use, I have a bag that I can use, like my duffel bag. I'm actually gonna have to grab that in a second. But anything that I can utilize to try and like show you guys what's up with this, I will. So with that said, all right. Oh geez, it's front back. I didn't know these were front back. Oh man, okay. So I guess it's gonna be 12 pages technically, but it's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be crazy, all right? In addition to that, I'm also I'm not like, when I show you this stuff, I'm not going to run through it extremely in depth. I'm going to show it to you a little bit. And then if you really wanted to, you could go back and watch this VOD and you'll be good. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start reading. So how to win a fight when you don't know how, intro. And again, I'm going to be reciting this for a video, so I'm going to be reading it a little bit weird. But I'm Scott Sullivan, and I'm here to teach you how to win a street fight with as little training and technique as possible. I'm a longtime martial artist who has fought in numerous exhibitions as well as sanctioned fights across multiple combat sports. There's many different ways to learn how to fight. Some work and others don't, and training for combat sports is one way to do it. However, what if I told you that while it's useful, you don't need to invest that much time and energy to be able to protect yourself from the average person? Combat sports are a great way to increase your odds of winning a street fight. However, it can be like bringing a real gun to a paintball match. Most people are not equipped to deal with someone who's that calculated and direct. Combat sports are great, and if you train and compete in them, you're much better off in every conceivable way. However, what about the people who don't have the time, energy, or money? They are who this series is for. The brokies. This is for the brokies. What I intend to do with these videos is give you some basic concepts and techniques that can be easily learned and remembered under pressure so that you're as well equipped as you can be without spending the months or years to get good at boxing, kickboxing, or grappling. Much of the time when people talk about things like this, they're trying to sell you some kind of ineffective system that will get you hurt, and they try as hard as they can to convince you that combat sports aren't effective for the streets. The difference with my system is that much of what I'll show you is used in combat sports, and what can't is only because it's illegal strikes or weapons you wouldn't have access to. I'm not teaching you how to sucker punch people. I'm not teaching you how to sucker punch someone who isn't actually aggressing upon you in a real way. And I'm not trying to look or sound cool here. I'm also not trying to get rich off of you. After all, this is for the brokies. This is for the brokies. I ain't getting rich off the brokies, all right? I'm also not trying to get rich off of you. I envision this as a tool for people who have to deal with some kind of danger in life. They live in a high crime area, or there's a bully or criminal that won't leave them alone, and they need a quick and effective solution to protect themselves, because if they go to a boxing gym, they won't learn anything other than footwork for a month. In this series, I'm less worried about perfect form. Obviously, the more correct the form, the better. But what I'm teaching you are techniques that, if done with full conviction, can and will help someone to not get hurt, regardless of if their footwork is good or if their punches are crisp. What I'm trying to do with this series is take as much of the thinking and complication, take out as much of the thinking and complication, and turn the aggression up to replace these things. And all of the technique that I show you will be conducive to this. Excuse me. You'll be learning things that you should practice if you're able to, but even with little practice, if you perform these moves as explosively and with as much commitment as you can, you'll be able to make up for your lack of experience. Aggression and nerve are prerequisites to this course, and contrary to what they say in movies, you can learn them. However, I cannot teach you that. If you half-heartedly try to perform these moves in a fight, they won't work very well, and truthfully, that's the case with any kind of technique. All technique is nothing without commitment, explosiveness, and power. You have to absolutely want to protect yourself enough as to where you'll do everything in an uninhibited manner. You can't fight like you don't want to fight somebody. You have to fight like you need someone to stop what they're doing to you. Because while no one should ever want to be in a fight, everyone should want to be safe, and sometimes that means you have to protect yourself. So with everything in mind, I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you learn something that will help you be a little safer in this dangerous world we're in. I have no clue how I'm going to be able to read all of this. I'm still working on this a little bit too. I'm kind of making final tweaks, and sometime over the next couple of months, I'm gonna actually do the thing, right? But that was sort of the chapter 1, if you will. Now, chapter 2 is basics and concepts. Welcome back. In this video, we get our first introduction to techniques we'll be working with later down the road. This is going to be basic movements from martial arts and combat sports that have been handpicked for this series to make your fighting as effective as it can be without overcomplicating things. I'm going to be showing you a limited selection of strikes, stances, and guards from boxing, Muay Thai, karate, and more, as well as other basic movements. If you have experience with any of these or any other martial arts that utilize strikes that I don't list, you can integrate them into these teachings with no problem. However, I didn't include certain things from these arts because it can be difficult to learn on the fly, and I don't want to completely overload you with information. Like I said in my introduction, you should practice these and try and be as good as possible at them, but also it's not completely necessary for you to be a master at these techniques. Just try your best with them, and when we use them in the future, you'll have the opportunity to combine these strategies with tactics that will make it easier for you to use them effectively. So, from here, right? From here, we get into things like stance and stuff like that. And I'll go ahead, right? Oh, man. I was sitting crisscross applesauce for a little while, so I'm all screwed up. Oh, man. Anyway, so stance. So when it comes to your stance, okay, and when it comes to stances in general in martial arts, there's a bunch of different stances for a bunch of different things, okay? A Muay Thai stance, right? A traditional Muay Thai stance is a lot like this, right? And what's happening is you have about 70% of your weight on your back foot, about 30% of your weight on your front foot, and you have a little bit of a tap, right? So if I'm standing still, I'm going to be tapping like that. I'm very squared off, right? When I move, there's kind of a certain kind of like swagger to it. That's good for Muay Thai, but might not be good for boxing. Boxing, you're going to be a lot more square. It's going to be a 50-50 weight distribution. So your weight is basically not going to be going down the center line, and you're going to be here. Some people, depending on height and weight, they get a little bit of that jumping in. You know, not a jump. It's more of like a skip or a hop, if you will. For this course, what we're going to be doing is kind of a cross between those, right? And it's going to be something that you would more see in like Dutch kickboxing or Sanda or something like that. So we're going to be pretty square, not as square as a Muay Thai stance, right? But we're still going to be pretty square, okay? 50-50 weight distribution. You want to be kind of springy, okay? So this is the way you would end up standing. You would want to put your power hand, which is going to be your dominant hand, in the rear. So I'm a righty. I write with my right hand, right? I wouldn't want to stand like this. I would want to take my right side, step it back, and then step the left side forward, right? There's little ways you can get into your stance, but this is kind of a whirlwind thing. I'm just trying to give you ideas about what is going to be in here. And if you really, really wanted to figure it all out, you know, you could try to emulate me if you want. Either that, or you could like, I heard something. I thought I heard something outside. Anyway, you could either emulate me, or you could try your best to. I mean, you could go to a gym. You could go to a gym, right? So yeah, that's the stance that you would have. I also highlight hands up, elbows in, chin tucked, hands open. Now, the reason why I highlight these things is because this is going to be my stance with my footwork, right? If I have my hands down here, they're probably not really good for me there. So I need to have my hands up, but the thing is I can't have my elbows out like that, okay? Because then here is open, and then in addition to that, it makes it kind of weird to try and throw punches. So my elbows have to be in. Now, I want to protect my head and my body if I have the ability to, but the thing is, right, if I'm protecting my body, my head isn't very protected. I know you're at a bit of a weird angle for me right now, but you can see my head isn't really protected. If I bring my hands up here, my head's protected, but my body's not very protected. If I take my hands, put them where they were originally, and then I tuck my chin down, you see how I can protect my head now. And then in addition to that, I'm also especially protecting my chin and my throat, okay? Because you don't want to get hit in the throat, obviously. And then in addition to that, if you get hit in the chin, that's how a lot of knockouts happen, right? That's what Joe Rogan means when he says right on the button. This is the button that he's talking about, okay? So you're here. Now, instead of having your hands here closed, you want them open. And there's a couple of reasons for this. For one thing, if you're constantly making a tight fist, you're going to tire yourself out. Because it's not just your fingers and your hand that are doing the work. It's your wrist and your forearm as well. And you're just going to burn energy needlessly. Every little thing counts. In addition to that, too, when you're like this says, I want to fight, okay? You shouldn't want to fight people. I know this is about how to win a street fight if you don't know how. And by the way, I forgot to say, try this all at your own risk, okay? Try this all at your own risk, you know, and I'm not responsible for anything you may or may not do, all right? If anything, I'm just showing you what I would do if I didn't know how to fight, right? But you're here, right? You don't want to be here because someone's going to see that and they're going to think, oh, this guy wants to fight. Now, obviously, if you are like here and then you're like, whoa, hey, right? It doesn't take much to kind of see that someone's in a fighting stance. But for one thing, it's a little bit easier to deflect punches, right? You're a little bit more relaxed, and this also says, hey man, I don't want to fight, I don't want to fight, I don't want to fight, right? Like this, like, hey, oh, please, right? Is obviously, it's an ego killer whenever someone puts you in a position where you're like, whoa, hey, whoa, right? But you almost want to kind of emulate that sort of situation where someone's overwhelming you or where you're like scared, except you're not. Except you're here like, whoa, dude, I don't want to fight, man. Please, I really don't want to fight. I really don't want to fight. That way, if you have to, you just close the fist up and you go. Either that or you just throw palm heels. But, so that's your stance, okay? Now, basic movement, I believe, is next, yes. So there's 4 cardinal directions that I go over in here, okay? Now, it's going to be forward, back, left, right. And when you go, really any direction you go in, you're going to start with the leg that's the closest to that direction. What I mean is, if I want to go forward, I'm going to start with my forwardmost leg. If I want to go backwards, I'm going to start with my backwardmost leg. If I want to go left, I want to start with my furthest left leg. My most liberal leg, my most socialist leg is the one that I want to go with if I'm trying to go left. And my most based leg, my most based and red-pilled leg, all right, if I want to go to my right, okay? So I'm here, right? I want to go forward. I'm going to start with my front leg, and I'm going to go nice and easy, right? I want to think of it as like 6 inches at a time, okay? That's how I want to think of it. It's going to be a few inches at a time, a few inches at a time, and whatever I do with my front leg, I'm also going to do with my back leg, okay? I don't want to go like 4 inches and then 3 feet. I can't do that, okay? I don't want to go a whole foot and then leave this behind. It's just like fractions. Whatever you do to the top, you got to do to the bottom whenever you're adding, subtracting, multiplying, you know, dividing, whatever it is. But, so, I go forward. I start with my forwardmost leg. Forward, just like that, okay? There's sort of a swagger to the movement that you'll be able to get as you keep on practicing, okay? It's not just gonna be like that, right? I want it to be nice and loose. I want to be able to kind of spring so that I'm not planted on my weight, right? I'm not planted on my feet. And then forward, just like that. I go back, same thing, backmost leg. I want to go left. There, okay, I want to go right. There. Now, so we get into actual attacks here, all right? What comes next is actual attacks, and that's going to be jab cross, elbow, knee, headbutt, push kick, palm, heels, okay? And then in addition to that, we also get into guards. So I'm just gonna go down the line. I'll show you a couple of times on the bag as well, okay? I'm not gonna go extra hard because like I said, you know, this doesn't affect my shoulder negatively, but I haven't been doing it for a while. I did it for years, and then when I finally was like, no, I got to get my shoulder checked out, I was like, maybe I should stop hitting the bag like I used to, for at least for the time being. But that's why I'm not doing a workout stream this time, right? But a jab cross. So you're up here. I have these on for when I hit the bag. Actually, you know what? It's fine. I'm not going to hit the bag that hard anyway, but I have them up here, okay? What I'm going to do is close my fist, extend out for the jab, and extend back. And you'll notice, right, what I'm doing is I'm kind of leaning onto my front leg. I'm not leaning over my front leg. I'm not leaning like this. I'm here, okay? If I was to show you from a different angle, it would be here, okay? So, if you make the noise, you get better power. That's why you got to make it doesn't work right if you don't make the noise, okay? By the way, if you're in chat, I can't really read, so I apologize. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch up with the chat either. So, yeah, I apologize if I'm not engaging with the chat a ton. Now, you can step into a jab. In fact, a lot of the time you're going to want to step into a jab. You're going to step like that, right? But to start off with, you want to just focus on getting the arm right, okay? So extend out, pull back. You don't want to pull back and then go, right? Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen with a lot of people. They're going to throw like that, right? Same thing with the cross. They're going to throw like that. But if you can help it, I almost said help and handle at the same time. If you can help it, you want to just stay here, extend out, go back, extend out, go back. And then eventually you can add a step, right? And when you step, you don't want to throw and then step. You don't want to step and then throw, right? You don't want to do that, okay? You should be extending out as this is hitting the ground, right? You don't want it to be here or here. You see the coordination between this and that, right? So, there. So there's without the step, then with the step. Now, the cross, very similar. It's just that there's going to be a turn, okay? So it's going to be the same idea with my arms specifically, but I'm going to turn, and you see that I'm turning first, okay? It's not going to be throw and then turn. It's not even going to be throw and turn at the same time. It's going to be turn, throw, like that. And when you do it for real, right, it's going to almost look like it's at the same time. But if you pay attention, you'll notice this comes first before this. So just like that. So I'll show you from a different angle. Like that. There. And then when you combine them, it's going to be jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, cross. Different angle. Just like that. If you step into it, you need to step with the cross too. So step, step, just like that. Step, 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 or step, step, just like that. Step, 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 don't want this thing to be making noise now, interrupting me. So that's your jab cross, okay? Now, I don't include a hook punch. The reason why is because the hook punch has a bit of a learning curve that can make it a little bit difficult. Has a bit of a learning curve that can make it a little bit difficult. And because of that, I don't want to confuse people, and I don't want to bother people, right? I know that a lot of people who watch this, I'm going to tell them, don't do this, and they're going to end up doing it, right? But you can get away with that against somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, so long as you do it the right way, right? A hook, it's like I don't want to confuse someone, right? I don't want to confuse someone by telling them, okay, this is a hook, this is how you throw a hook, and then they end up like, they spend hours and hours trying to emulate this, and all they can do is start throwing like that, you know? It's kind of pointless. So from there we have elbows and knees. Elbows and knees specifically are meant to be on the inside, and there's a couple of different kinds of elbows you could throw, right? We're gonna focus on one though, right? Because there's like upward elbows or stabbing elbows, right? There's slashing elbows. We are going to be more focused on something that's going to smash into someone, because elbows in Muay Thai specifically they're more cutting agents. They'll knock somebody out, but they're especially good for cutting people. And you're not trying to cut someone in a street fight, right? You'd rather not cut somebody, actually, because you don't know what they've got, you know? You don't know what kind of bar you're at. You don't know what somebody else has, right? You don't want to take the chance of he gets cut and then you get blood on you and then you got what he's got, right? So no, thank you. And if you're going to throw an elbow, right, typically you see how my elbow glides through the air, right? I'm not saying your elbow is not going to glide through the air at all, right? It's just you're not going to be so focused on that. You're going to be more just a short, powerful elbow, right? So the difference being, right, there, you can actually see skin from my elbow on the bag. I don't think you can actually see it, but there's skin from my elbow on the bag because I was taking this part of my elbow and slashing with it on the bag here, right? In this case, and again, I'm not going to go as hard as I can, right? That's the kind of elbow I want to throw, right? That's the kind of elbow that I would want to throw. So instead of thinking there, right, it's going to be just bang, bang, bring it through. You can do the same with the other side too. There. And it's not that you can't throw that in Muay Thai. Like, elbows like that get thrown plenty of times, right? They get thrown all the time when it comes down to it. But it's something where I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying you don't ever see that, right? It's just a lot of the time when you practice elbows, specifically in the West, I don't know exactly how they do it over in Thailand, right? But when people tell you about elbows, they're usually telling you, hey, you want to cut somebody with those. You want to land like right here and try and create like a gash. Even the forehead, you know? You hit someone in the forehead and it can create a big ass gash. Looks like a fucking vagina, dude. Anyway, but yeah, so there's an example of an elbow, okay? A knee, right? So a knee, what you're gonna, see, we're getting into a spot that's a little bit dynamic, right? I wouldn't want to throw a knee like way on the outside, because if I'm way on the outside, I'd rather throw punches or palm wheels or some kind of kick, right? A knee is going to be better for when I can grab somebody and throw a knee at them, right? So I'm going to be here, right? There. And what I'm going to do, I'd end up aiming for the solar plexus, right? Either that or the groin. Or if I can get their head, right? If I can grab hair, pull them down into a knee, that's fantastic, right? I'm not going to go too in-depth about either of them, right? Because for one thing, it's kind of a time thing. I went a little bit more in-depth with the jab cross because honestly, like, I started nerding out a little bit, and I wanted to like make sure I really showed you a good jab cross. But I kind of forgot the point of this, is to just give you guys ideas here. Now, you would throw elbow, knee, as well as headbutt in a way that would complement you on the inside. So a headbutt, right? Now, if I was close to somebody and I wanted to throw a headbutt, I wouldn't want to go back and then forward, right? That wouldn't be a good idea. I want to take my head wherever it happens to be and just go forward, okay? Because it doesn't take that much to damage somebody with the headbutt. This is the hardest part of your cranium, and this is where you're trying to hit with most of the time, right? So if I'm here, someone's in my face, and I feel I absolutely positively have to hit somebody first, I might end up going bang, just straight in, right? Just bang. And what I can do is I can either A, break a nose if I'm going hard enough and I hit right. I might even be able to chip a tooth, something like that. You never know. I might break his jaw depending on where and how I hit. But me personally, the way I would use a headbutt if I had to, and we're actually going to get into this, is it would be, okay, this guy is in my face right now. I know it's going to erupt into a fight. I don't want to be the one having to defend against the first punch. I'm going to throw the first punch. Here's a nice, easy surprise attack that's probably not going to knock him straight on his ass and kill him if he hits his head on the pavement, right? But it'll probably stumble him back, and now we have space, and now a fight is initiated, and like I know I'm probably not going to sucker punch this guy and kill him, but I've also avoided one too, right? Push kick, palm heels, okay? So a push kick is a little bit like a teep, right? This is a teep. You see I'm hitting with the balls of my feet. I don't want to hit with the balls of my feet in this case though. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying a push kick is going to be a little bit different from a teep in this case, right? A push kick, instead of up and hitting with the balls of my feet, I'm going to come up and I'm going to try and hit with my heel, okay? And when I hit him, I'm going to be aiming for that solar plexus, okay? You could, in theory, aim for the groin, but I'm not a big fan of that idea because, for one thing, the lower you go, the harder it is to actually land with your heel. So if you wanted to throw like a teep to the nuts, or just straight up throw a kick right up the middle like that, that's perfectly fine. Go right ahead, you know? But if you were going to throw a push kick to the solar plexus, it'd be there, right? And this is especially good for if somebody's coming towards you and you time it and you end up hitting them, right? So, stop. What? So, push kick. Now, palm heels, it's the same idea as a jab cross, okay? I don't even really have to show you like that. The idea would be to try and hit with here, okay? And the reason you would do that is because either A, maybe your fists are just a little bit brittle, right? Like if it was in the middle of February and I had to fist fight somebody, I don't want to have to throw with my fists. No, thank you. You know, it's cold out, dude. Bones will break a lot easier in the cold. At least bones like this. And either that or maybe I've already hurt myself in some way, you know? And I just want to make sure that I'm able to hit with something that's not going to break that easy, right? Miro Otinen, Sensei Scott, please give street fight advice for a shorter man. I mean, this is good for shorter people too, but if you mean specifically for short guys, I would say you have to crowd. You have to crowd. And I'm actually going to go over that. But now, up next is guards, okay? I'm going to show you 3 guards, all right? And when I say guard, what I mean is how you're holding your hands, okay? The first one is just raising them up here, okay? Just a regular, I end up calling this, I believe, the triangle guard, right? Yes, okay. There's 3 of them. I kind of gave them names just to differentiate between them, all right? This is called triangle, and the reason why is because you're basically making a triangle, right? And where that bottom would be is where your head is. Now, I'm not here. I'm tucking my chin and I'm hiding behind my arms. And the reason I would do this is because somebody gets in my face and I'm here and I'm like, whoa, whoa, hey man, hey, I don't want any trouble. I don't want any trouble, right? This is good for if somebody throws punches at me and I need to protect myself, all right? I make my triangle and I hide my head. And chances are he's going to hit elbows or the arm in a place where I'd rather get hit as opposed to right on the chin, okay? So I'm here, there, there, okay? Arms open. I can even go palm, right? Palm. I wouldn't go like this necessarily, right? But I kind of stack right here. I come up, okay? And it's a good way to protect your head, all right? So you're here, there. Whoa, hey man, hey. Whoa, hey dude, can't we just get along, bro? Whoa, dude, right? Just like that, okay? That's better for if you're staying still, although you could use it if you were moving forward or moving back. Now, the next one is cross guard. Now, the cross guard I typically prefer to use if I'm moving forward, okay? If I'm moving forward. What I would end up doing is I would take my arm, put it up here, almost as though I was going to wipe sweat off of my forehead, right? So think of wiping sweat off your forehead and then bring your arm out here. What I would also do is take this and put it right on the forearm, okay? And again, I'm hiding my head behind here, all right? There's kind of a little space right here you can use as a way to kind of peek out, right? You get decent vision out of there, but I'm keeping here. Now, I don't want to stay still in this case because the longer I sit here, the easier it's going to be for him to start figuring out where he can go. You may notice, right? I'm pretty well protected from this side and right in front of me as well as this side. But if you go around here or if you go uppercut, it's pretty easy to hit me. I'm pretty open, right? So what I would want to do is be here and move forward into you, right? So I start off here. Whoa, hey man, hey, I don't want any trouble, dude. I don't want any trouble. There. Right? It's a quick motion. You hit somebody by surprise. Even if you're just like sparring with somebody. Like if you're sparring with somebody, and this is where being a shorter guy, this can kind of come into play. If you're a shorter guy and you need to get in on somebody and you're sparring, right? You're here, just move in with that. And you'd be surprised how much it really like messes with people. You know, it really messes with people when you do that. Kind of, they're like, what the hell is going on, huh? What? Yeah, and by the way, the same thing goes with that triangle guard too. I don't want to just sit here forever and ever. It's like, I'm here, whoa, I don't want to fight, I don't want to fight. I see somebody's about to throw a punch, I come up here, the punch is stopped, okay, I come back down here and I do whatever I have to do, right? What else? What's going on, JC? What's going on, JC? How you doing, man? Why not basic boxing guard? Because when people say keep your hands up, it's almost meaningless if you don't know what you're doing. And I'm teaching people who don't know how to fight. And in order to understand the basic boxing guard and how to utilize it, you need the experience, right? Because if my hands are just up here, right, that's cool. But if he throws around and I don't know how to stop that, I don't know how to like move in a way that's going to keep me safe without completely opening me up, right? Like people, they'll come out here and stuff like that, right? If I see someone do that, I'll fake as though I'm going to like come with a round punch, bang, and I'll come right up the middle. And I'm not the only one who's going to do that either, right? But again, there's going to be guys who are even better at that than I am. So the basic boxing guard is really just more like, hey, here's where you want to keep your hands so that when somebody throws at you, you can move into a position to defend yourself, right? That's what you want. But it would be a little bit too much to expect somebody to be able to comb the hair, to slick the hair back, or to parry or bridge or anything like that. You need to practice that with a partner. And not everybody's going to have the time or the energy or even a partner to try and practice that with. So it's much easier to tell somebody, just move your hands up here, right? Now, the last one I prefer for moving backwards. And again, you can use all of these interchangeably, but each one is a little bit better suited for another one. And this I call the box, all right? It's kind of like a cross guard a little bit, but what's going to happen, okay? I'm going to go 1, 2, all right, here. All right, I'm creating a box and I'm able to look through it, right? And I prefer this for moving back because when someone's moving back, you're not going to want to throw a hook because they're going to move straight back out of the range of the hook. A hook is going to have less range than a punch. Like for instance, right? This is my jab, all right? Now, if I want to throw a hook, you see how I can't really hit it the way that I want to. If I want to throw that hook and hit it for real, I need to get in to a closer range, right? So if somebody's throwing a hook or a rounded punch of some kind, I don't have to worry as much about the sides. I am actually kind of protected on the sides when I do this, right? But you see how a lot of the surface area is just straight out in front of me. Now, when I do this, again, it's not like I'm going to be here and I'm going to be like, right? No, I'm going to tuck my chin behind and I'm going to be looking through. So I'm here. Whoa, hey, man, I don't want to fight. Whoa, dude, take it easy, man. Take it easy. Right? And that's, again, the way that I would want to use it. I wouldn't necessarily just want to stand here forever and ever, right? Somebody starts to throw at me and I'm like, whoa, hey, you know? And then after everything has been taken care of, that's where I can go to this stance and start, fighting, doing whatever I need to do, right? So yeah, that's all the basic techniques, all right? This is probably going to be one of the longer chapters, right? It took like probably a half hour for me to just get through all that. I wanted this to be an hour-long stream, but anyway. Now, from there, I pick back up into narration. That right there is everything I'm going to teach you in terms of basic techniques that we will apply. As I mentioned before, you can easily add anything else you are already familiar with or that you learn as time goes on. But these are the bare bones strikes and positions we're going to learn. And you may notice there's certain things that I didn't include. For instance, right? I didn't tell people to throw hooks. I didn't tell people to throw roundhouse kicks. All right? And the reason why is because it's a lot easier to teach someone to throw like that than it is to teach them how to properly throw like that, right? And if I told people, hey, throw roundhouse kicks, throw low kicks, throw midsection kicks, instead of that bang, right, chances are they're going to end up throwing like that, and that's not what you want. That is most certainly not what you want. What's going on, PKA Podcast Clips? How you doing, man? But anyway, recognizing sucker punches and setting lines, okay? This is probably the most important. If I had to cut this short, which I'm not saying I'm going to, but if I had to, right? If we got to about 4:15, 4:30 and I wasn't done, I might just have to cut it short. But if I did have to cut it short, this is the most important piece right here. This right here, all right? If you watched the last installment of the series, you learned how to do some basic maneuvers and attacks, and in this installment, we're going to start working situationally with what is probably the most important thing you can learn how to do, which is identify a sucker punch. Most street fights aren't actually fights, but standoffs and confrontations full of yelling and posturing that end with somebody taking a swing before the other guy is ready. These are extremely common, and you can find tons of examples on the internet. Typically, you'll notice a pattern with them that includes a few things like hands down by the sides, no attention paid to the other person's posture and hand positioning. I almost fell back there. More importance on winning the peacocking battle than staying safe. And the quote-unquote bad guy, 4 is the quote-unquote bad guy, was able to get close enough to strike in the first place and may have even initiated lesser forms of physical contact. Now, I'm especially going to highlight 2, 3, and 4, right? Because, hands down by your sides, that's self-explanatory. Somebody's sitting here like this. Out of that, they might be standing like that, What up, bro? What up, bro, right? You don't want to do that, obviously. But number 2 is no attention paid to the other person's posture and hand positioning. Now, you might notice in some cases, someone, either A, they might be standing like this, talking blah, 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 blah. No, you suck. No, I'm not gay, you're gay. No, I'm not gay, you're gay. Right? If someone's standing like this, and if someone's got a crunched down posture, right, chances are they're getting ready to swing. Okay? Someone who's like this is typically not going to end up swinging. And this is actually like something that Systema goes over. Systema is full of shit, but they do have certain points about certain things. And if you can throw short, powerful blows from a stance like this, you are much better equipped in a street fight. But the fact of the matter is, right, you need more than that, and most people are not equipped to do that. So what ends up happening is they end up here like, no, you didn't fuck my mom, I fucked your mom. I fucked your mom, bro. Dude, I fucked your mom. No, you didn't fuck mine, I fucked yours. Right? That's what happens a lot of the time. And you need to be wary of that. You need to consider, okay, where are his feet? Where are his hands? Where are his shoulders, right? You got someone who's here like, no, dude, it's my parking spot, not yours. And it's like, well, what's he doing with his fucking hand? Probably nothing good, you know? You should probably be aware. You should probably be aware of that, right? And it's a situation that most people don't know to be aware of, right? So you gotta be wary. You gotta be wary. And I mean, you're never gonna see a video of me in that situation. I don't know. Maybe you will. Maybe I'll be the next big E-boy. I'm gonna be the next big E-boy, and I'm gonna go IRL streaming, and I'm gonna get run up on by some guy that I have drama with. That's what's gonna happen. That's totally gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. But like in those situations, you'll notice that like I'm not looking someone in the eye. I'm like literally like, okay, shoulders, hands, feet, legs. Okay, shoulders, hands, feet, legs. Shoulders, hands, feet, leg. I'm literally like shifting attention constantly. Like, interesting, right? I actually don't even talk when somebody gets in my face, because at that point, I'm not in the talking mood. I'm in the analyzing mood, getting ready to have to hurt somebody mood, you know? It's a lot of people, like I said, they're more, and we'll use that to segue into the next point. A lot of people are focused on winning the peacocking battle because in their mind, it's not actually about staying safe. It's about this guy. It's about trying to be the alpha, dude. It's about trying to be the Andrew Tate alpha, bro, is what it is. That's what it is. No, dude, I'm the alpha. No, I'm the alpha, bro. I'm the alpha. No, not you, me. Meanwhile, the other guy's like, no, you're not the alpha. You're not the alpha. No, you're not the alpha. They're like that. And the dude who's getting hit is like standing like that because he's more focused on trying to win a battle of who the cool guy is, who the extra cool guy is what they're trying to do, you know? You can't do that. You can't worry about that. Now, number 4 was the bad guy was able to get in close enough to strike in the first place, and they may have even initiated a lesser form of physical contact, right? Now, this is something you really only see happen in movies, right? But you see situations where someone's like, and you know what? You're not the alpha, I'm the alpha. That's right, bud. Like someone poking you like that. Nobody does that kind of thing, you know? Nobody does that kind of thing. I had a dude do that to me one time. It was an ex-girlfriend. It was like some family friend of hers. And he's like, you better not hurt her, buddy. And he started poking me. And I went to grab his finger. I legit was going to be like, don't ever fucking do that again, pussy. Like, I was literally angry. Like, I don't like being touched like that. So even thinking about it now makes me angry, you know, if you didn't notice. And he pulled his finger away just in time. And as soon as he did that, I think he realized that I didn't like that. And he was like, I'm just kidding. And I was like, yeah, all right. Yeah. And we just moved on, right? It's a girl I'm dating for like 4 years at this time. This is the first time I've ever seen that guy around, and he's going to try and give me the talk. It's like, get the fuck out of my face. I'll fucking throw you into the fire. We were at a Portuguese festival, so they have an open fire. Anyway, jokes aside, but We have a little bit more reading, I believe. So, oh yeah, no. Finishing up number 4. You don't let someone put hands on you. And that includes little things where it's like, you know, touching you, grabbing the shirt, like putting a hand on your chest or something like that, right? You need to be wary of that kind of thing. Because what will happen is a lot of people are pussies and they won't jump until they absolutely positively feel like they can, if that makes sense. And what they're going to do is slowly but surely get them to that point by seeing what they can get away with, right? So I know, right? If I can get away with this, maybe I can get away with that. If I can get away with that, maybe I can get away with that, right? That's what'll happen a lot of the time with these people, is they will they'll hype themselves up slowly but surely after they get those teeny tiny little wins, right? Me personally, if I put hands on somebody, it's not to hype myself up. It's because I don't like how close they are, and either A, I'm like, fuck back, or B, they're walking in and I'm trying to keep range. I'm trying to keep a range as to where I'm like, okay, all right, I can't hit him, I can't hit him, I can't hit him. Oh, I got him. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not going to allow somebody to get this close to me. And if I do, it means something went wrong. I screwed up. All right? So you need to create space whenever you can. All right? Now, with that said, back to the reading. What we're going to do is walk through what you typically see in these scenarios and discuss what you should be doing at any given point. This is also going to be about drawing lines in the sand and what your mindset should be in that situation. We already kind of walked through what to look for. We didn't exactly walk through what to do, but you know, we'll see about that. Anyway, the first thing you need to understand is that no one should ever get this close to you without your permission. If someone gets into this range, meaning the range we were just in a second ago, if somebody gets into this range, something went wrong, and it's probably that you're not trying hard enough to keep them away. You need to be willing to cede ground to a guy, even if you don't like the feeling. It's about your safety, not your ego. Back away, and if he stops trying to get near you, then you're in good shape, and you can try and talk him down. If for whatever reason you can't keep backing up, then you need to resort to the next layer of defense. If he gets too close, your move should be to assume a stance. It doesn't have to be the exact stance I taught you, but you have to have your feet staggered similar to how you would stand while practicing your punches and kicks. Your hands should be in a position where you can pull them into a guard quickly. I prefer to have my hands by my chest because I talk with my hands, and I don't like having my arms folded across my body because they're static and can get stuck there. From here, you have a choice to make, and that is completely dependent on your situation and the laws in your state. Follow the laws in your state. Don't just, you know, consult a lawyer and figure it all out. You can either hit him first, which, as I said, you should consult a lawyer in your area about the legality of, or you can watch him and anticipate a sucker punch. Now, specifically what I'm talking about stances, right? If somebody gets this close to me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up. I'm going to be like, hey, man, hey, come on, man, I don't want to fight, right? If they keep on getting closer and closer to me, right, I'm going to stagger my stance like this. Not enough as to where I'm like here, right? But it's going to be enough as to where, for one thing, if he does decide to take a swing, I can move back, right? Either that or I can do something. I can do something. I'm not just going to be here static, okay? I'm going to be like, whoa, hey, man. Now, when I said hands up at my chest, like I said, I don't want to be here because he might think that's a little bit weird, all right? And he might get suspicious of that. I don't want to be like this, like, oh, blah, 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 because when it comes down to it, like, I got to pull these out, which, like, obviously it's not going to be that hard. I'm just here. But I just don't like the idea of having to go this way and then that way in any capacity, right? I'd rather just be able to go here. And me, I tend to talk with my hands. Like, I'm doing that a little bit right now, right? And I don't know if it's because I'm, like, cognizant of it, so I'm like, oh, I'm telling them I do it, so I should do it. Or if it's that I'm literally, like, talking like that. But if I have my hands here and I'm able to be like, whoa, dude, hey, believe me, I don't want to fight, man. I do not want to fight at all. For one thing, there is a psychological thing in his mind where he sees my hands. I'm not, like, obscuring them. I'm not in a fighting stance. And he might think, oh, this guy doesn't really want to fight. Maybe I should leave him alone. Maybe I've won and I should leave him alone. Either that, or on the flip side, he might be like, this guy doesn't want to fight. I could totally kick his ass. I should do that. It's a 50-50 shot you're going to have to take, right? But the bottom line is when you're here, You can get up here a lot quicker. Blah, 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 blah. No, yeah, dude, totally. You would fuck my mom. You're that much of a Chad. Anyway, I really don't want to fight, dude. Like, let's just go our separate. Whoop, there, right? It's a lot easier. Either that or there or there. Either one. Okay? So, from here, the way you do this is by keeping an eye on multiple parts of his body, which you will be able to do near simultaneously. This is what I was talking about earlier when I was going through 1 through 4. You want to see where his hands are. If he's got them balled up in a fist or if he's hiding them, it's a sign that he might have some kind of ill intent. If his feet are staggered or if his weight is shifted in a manner that implies he's loading up preemptively, maybe glances or keeps glancing at a certain area of your body, he intends to strike, as most people do when they throw punches. He might suddenly break eye contact or feign some kind of move that's meant to trick you into thinking he's walking away. And again, that's kind of like a movie thing too, but I don't want to say you don't ever see that, right? You know, you oh, bang, right? You see that kind of thing. You never know, it might happen. If you notice any of these things occurring, there's a chance you will be attacked suddenly in a manner that is meant to catch you off guard. You may notice these things before the punch comes, and you should be able to act before you are the one on the worst side of the exchange. There's a few basic ideas to follow when it comes to dealing with these situations. 1, initiate force before he can, which doesn't just mean punching, but can include things like shoving, body locks, takedowns, etc. Also, the force doesn't have to be to try and win a fight. It can be used to create space to escape. And that's kind of like, you know, like I'm in here, I might bang, hit that headbutt, not as hard as I can, but just enough to stagger him back, because I don't want to sucker punch him and then he hits the ground and he dies, because that's how that happens a lot of the time, right? Instead, what I can do is just shove him back and either A, pounce after that, or B, just go, just get the hell out of Dodge. You know, either one. They can all work pretty well. 2, wait for him to strike and defend the blow before acting, however the situation demands. And again, this is where all of the stances and the, hey man, I don't want to fight, oh, coming up here to that triangle guard, or whatever guard you do, the cross guard, or you know, the box, excuse me, I did the wrong one because I'm not actually in a stance, so I just did whatever felt right. But, you know, a bunch of different ways, so we got here. 3, move preemptively to keep him off balance. If you see him slowly starting to shift his weight, taking a step or 2 back means he now has to account for the extra distance. He may even reconsider the choice he was about to make because he's full of adrenaline and may be overthinking whether you did that because you knew he was going to hit you. And this is good for a couple of different things. You can surprise somebody as well. Like me, right? When I like to throw high kicks with my front leg, right? What I'll do is I'll be here in punching range, right? And I'll step out knowing that that person's going to follow me, and then I come up to the top of the head. I'll also do the same thing with a hook kick as well. I'll come up there. I don't have the world's greatest hook kick, but I prefer to throw it because it's unorthodox and it catches people off guard, right? You can do the same thing. You can step off and somebody steps in and you're like, okay, now bang, right? Either that or you step off and maybe they don't follow you, right? Or you step off, they follow you, you step off again at a different angle. They have to keep on following you. It's like, here's you, here's him, he's here, step off, so on and so forth. Excuse me. So these are a few things to remember when trying to deal with a potential sucker punch, and I wanted to teach them to you first because I wanted to go over the worst case scenario. Now we will go over the second half of this installment, which is drawing lines in the sand. This is an important step for both your practical self-defense as well as your mind state regarding having to fight somebody. Nowadays, we're always told to keep our hands to ourselves and to not hit others, and while I'm not saying that's a bad thing, many people have become so averse to aggression that even hitting someone in self-defense can be a problem in their head. Setting a line will help you to know when to strike and help you to have a solid go point. When I talk about drawing lines, I obviously don't mean to literally try and trace a line in the dirt, and you shouldn't tell him where your line is, because most people will take that as a challenge and call your bluff. Your goal is to not fight at all, and everything in this video is for if that fails, so you shouldn't be doing things that provoke someone. What I'm talking about is having a reference point between you and the other person that serves as a marker in your head as to when the fight will commence. It should be, it could be a physical object that is a certain distance away from you, like a stick or a bottle. It could be a street curb or a doorway they have to walk through. It could just be a general distance they enter into. For me, I know when someone is close enough for me to close distance on them, so usually I don't have to think about it. I just know when the proper time for me to act is. So, you see this glove, right? It's here. Let's say I'm having beef with somebody, all right? Mr. Tap Out Bag over here is talking shit, and I don't like it. And I'm like, hey man, knock it off. And he starts talking shit more, and he starts threatening me. If he crosses this point right here, right? I'm explaining it weird. I see this thing here, right? This glove. I might tell myself, okay, I don't want to fight this guy, but if he crosses that glove, if he steps on or past that glove, a fight has commenced. The fight has started when he gets that close to me. You know, so he could get all the way up to here. He hasn't crossed the line yet. I'll let him have that. That's his. He can have that. It's all good. But the second he crosses that line, bang. Right? No hesitation. No, hey man, whoa, that's assault. No, nothing. He crossed the line. Literally, he crossed the line, right? Now, I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, don't go past that glove, because we're in a battle of egos right now, right? That's an egotistical thing for me to do, is to be like, this is my space, don't cross it, right? And of course, his egotistical response is going to be, hey, let's cross it. I ain't listening to this guy, right? So don't do that, all right? Now, in addition to that, now there's nothing. I know from this distance, I can step in, all right? I can step in. I can step in, all right? And I have a body lock, I have a takedown, I'm crowding him in some form, right? When somebody gets to be about this close to me, that's when I'll step in. It's far, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want to shoot in for a takedown all the way from out here, right? I'd want to be a little bit closer. Like, this is about as far as I would want to shoot in for a takedown if I was going to try and, like, fight somebody in an MMA match. I might, like, throw a jab and then, you know, go, right? Or whatever else I happen to do. But in this case, I'm not in an MMA fight. This guy doesn't know a fight has started when he gets into that range. He thinks what's going to happen is he gets to this range, he gets closer and closer, he gets in my face, we're going to talk shit, and then he gets to start the fight if he wants to, because he's going to be the one to throw a sucker punch at me. That's how he thinks things are going to go. And I'm subverting that expectation and catching him off guard by not following that weird little etiquette that people seem to have picked up for some weird reason. Where if somebody, right? So this thing's swinging, oh, there, right? And that works very, very well, right? I've been in multiple situations where I didn't even have to really fight somebody. All I had to do was get underhooks on them. I just had to get underhooks on them, and I held them for a second. And I just felt them go from tense to like, because they knew, like, fuck, I can't get out of this. What am I going to do? And when I let them go, it's not like I was like, all right, pal. I was like, I'm here. I feel them kind of go limp. And I'm like, all right, that'll wait for me, you know? And then after that, I got ready to fight again. Because they went limp, it doesn't mean they're not going to want to fight again. It just means that they know, like, fuck, I can't get out of this, you know? Once they get out of it, they might try coming at me, you know? But just examples of how to use a line that has been drawn. Now, sorry. Oh yeah. The reason this is important is because if I pick a spot to pounce on him, I will have the upper hand, especially if I catch him walking towards me with his hands down. He wants to get close at his own pace, and I'm going to subvert that expectation. I literally just said that. By entering into close range at a more aggressive pace he wasn't prepared for. Whether I shove, punch, kick, or go for some kind of takedown, I'm taking the element of surprise from him. The other reason this is such a huge deal is because, as I mentioned before, a lot of people can be a little timid when it comes to this sort of thing. Sometimes they don't know when it's time to act, and other times they're afraid to act altogether. When you draw a line, there's a clear go point that will make it easier for a more timid person to know when it's time to go, and to feel like they have permission to defend themselves. These two pieces are very important practical aspects of protecting yourself from the sucker punch. You can practice these going light with a partner if you have one. However, I would suggest any sort of drilling be done under the supervision of a professional. Now, tactics. Crowding, grabbing, pushing, wall work, all right? We are about halfway through. Actually, we're a little bit more than halfway through. I'm gonna try and speed through this, especially because like certain things like wall work are gonna be a little bit difficult to show you. But in this installment, we will be discussing things that are more on the tactical side of a street fight, specifically if and when something has actually popped off. We're going to go over different things that you will have an easy time remembering and defaulting to in a high-stress situation. I'm not saying these will make you invincible or anything. I'm saying that many situations can be helped by adhering to them. Before we get into the tactics, let's talk about the underlying foundation of them, which are winning a fight as quickly and efficiently as possible. There are things you do see in MMA. These are things you do see in MMA. However, the way we'll be using them is a little bit different because in an MMA fight, you have two highly trained individuals who know how to handle stress and attacks. This makes it a little more complicated than just being able to do them. It's a constant game of cat and mouse. Additionally, any combat sports match has a moment where the ref says go that will make it easier to see anything coming. We're operating in spots where the fight doesn't typically have a go moment before the violence starts, and we're going to be using this to our advantage in some cases. If you asked any MMA fighter if they could go in and dominate the entire fight, land all the punches and kicks, and not get hit at all, they would say yes. If they wanted to, like if they could go in, and do that, would they? And they would say yes, but it doesn't happen that way, not for lack of trying, but because of what I mentioned a second ago. There's a much greater chance of you being able to get off unhurt. I'll read that again. There's a much greater chance of you being able to get off unhurt in a street fight, and what it comes down to is whether you're going to give him an opportunity to do what he wants. I'll say right now that you shouldn't. You should treat it like an argument where you're shouting down someone so harshly they can't get a word in edgewise. If you do these moves with the right mindset, it will help you. Crowding. Crowd an opponent. Well, there's crowding, grabbing, pushing. Oh, and then, yes, so crowding. Now, when I throw punches or kicks, right, I need to be in the proper distance to do so, right? I'm going to throw a punch from this distance. I can even step back a little bit more and still land, right? This is a good distance for me to punch because I'm on the end of my punches, right? Now, if I'm in here, good luck trying to hit anything. I would have to go to the side, and even then, I'm not really going to hit the way that I need to. I could try elbows, but even then, I'm still too close for elbows. If I wanted to elbow, I need to get just enough distance to be able to elbow, okay? So what I would want to do in certain situations, right, and this is where that cross guard that I was talking about can come into play. I want to get so close that he is not going to be able to actually throw punches that are going to be any good, right? That's really... Something just happened. I don't know what just happened.
10 spots got congrats on 5K, brother. Good street fight smart stream. I learned a thing or two today. Thank you, Sensei. Scotty Rockers out.
I don't know who sent that in, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for sending that in. Actually, I might be able to check. Okay. Is that JC? I believe it might be JC. I could be wrong. Thank you very much, JC. Thank you very much. Whoever sent that in, just in case I got it wrong, thank you. Thank you so much. But, so if I'm sitting here and someone's initiating violence on me, right? If I get in close, it's going to be harder for them to do anything. And then in addition to that, I can push them back, right? I believe pushing might have been the next one that I was going to talk about. Yes, pushing, right? Now, we said a second ago, you can use pushing to create distance, to initiate a fight, as well as to get away, right? You can use crowding and pushing at the same time though, because, and I'll move this a little bit, right? I'll move this just a little bit, right? Either A, I might decide I want to push and then get in close, or B, just the act of trying to crowd him might push him. I might be like, whoa, hey. Right? Now, the idea would be to try and push him up against the wall. That's what I would want to do, which might be the second part. It might be the second part. Wall work, yes, wall work. I didn't bold that for some reason. I didn't put that in bold, so I couldn't find it. Now, wall work. Wall work is, again, this is something you see in MMA, but we're going to be using it a little bit different, right? And a good example of this is Jimmy versus TJ. Jimmy actually used wall work pretty well when he fought TJ in season 2. I shit you not. Like, 12 years of MMA? Hell no. But you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if he walked into a place and they taught him some of that stuff just on the fly, right? But the idea would be to push somebody up against the wall. You can't even see me. The idea would be to push somebody up against the wall and keep them there and start throwing punches, right? You could go low, right, to the groin, to the body, to the head, right? You can throw elbows, you can throw knees, you can throw headbutts, things like that, right? And this person, you want them up against the wall. I'm trying not to touch the mirror too much. Like straightened up and like really uncomfortable. You want them moving this way just a little bit more, right? You want them up against the wall, very uncomfortable, right? You want them pinned up against there, like, whoa, 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 right? That's what you want. So you're in here throwing your headbutts, throwing your short punches, your elbows, your knees, right? Your punches to the groin, and mixing it all up, you know? I might sit here in on the wall and go low, high, right? I might go high, high, low, back to high, right? I might do a bunch of different kinds of stuff like that, you know? And that's how you would want to utilize this, okay? The thing I will say about wall work is when you use wall work, you absolutely positively have to keep him overwhelmed. You have to keep him overwhelmed on the wall. You don't just sit there and allow him to like have breathing room, you know? And there was, we did a Reddit fight stream, I want to say a month and a half, 2 months ago. And I talked about that. There was a guy who had somebody pinned up against the wall. The good guy had the bad guy pinned up against the wall. If you know, it was one of those situations where one guy kind of deserved it. And the dude just kind of like, he was throwing punches, right? And then he stopped. He just kind of stopped. And it's like, no, you keep on going. I'm not saying you pummel a guy who is absolutely positively unable to take anymore, right? That's not what I'm saying. But you want to keep him overwhelmed in some way. And if you're not going to throw punches, then you want to at least be trying to tie up his arms and keep him pressed against the wall, right? But with that said, yeah, I'll talk about wall work a little bit, right? Just because I want to highlight a couple of things. Wall work, and these are all bullet points. Pin him against the wall to keep him off balance and controlled. You see wall work in the UFC, and we're going to do similar things, but this will be a little different. If you don't know how to grapple, it might be tough for you to remember to dig for underhooks. So what we'll do instead is combine all of the former tactics into wall work, because they're good for use in getting to the wall and staying there. You may start by shoving him and getting him to move backwards, then immediately crowding him to keep that momentum towards the wall, and either before or after he hits the wall, grabbing him to maintain control. So what this would look like is, we're here, I won't push the bag, I'll push an imaginary person, right? I might be like, well, hey dude, I really don't want to fight, I don't want to fight. I just follow him to the wall, right? Of course, you got to make the noises. You got to make the noises. If you don't make the noises, it's not going to work right, okay? So, takedowns. Excuse me. Well, I got to finish off this section. Work with whatever you have. If you have one hand free, you can strike with that, whether it's punches or elbows. You can go for low blows, midsection head, etc. We went over that. Make sure you keep him overwhelmed and off balance, because the entire point of this is to make him either quit fighting or strike until you feel he's too overwhelmed, and use that to get a head start running. Depending on the situation, I might be crowded in close to keep him squished to the wall, But other times I might disengage so I can have both hands free to punch. It really depends on how good of a job he's doing fighting off the wall. And if he gets free and starts running away, don't bother chasing him. It's not about beating him, it's about protecting yourself. And when I say disengaging, right, so I'm here, all right, I have him up against the wall, I'm going bang, 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 right? That was like a weird elbow to be thrown. I kind of just, you know, I got crossed wires there. But the idea is, you know, I'm in here close, I'm pushed him up against the wall, bang, 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 right? I do whatever it is I have to do, and I decide, okay, it's probably best for me to disengage and then bang, 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 right? It really depends. It really all depends, you know? Oh, man. Again, it's not like I'm going that hard on the bag because I'm trying to make sure I don't exasperate anything in my shoulder, but you get the idea. Now, takedowns, okay? In this section, we're going to learn some basic takedowns you can use that will help you in many situations. We're going to learn some very basic ones that will either be easier, that will be on the easier side to learn and utilize. However, we need to go into this with the right state of mind because we're not going to use these in the way you will see someone who trains extensively in MMA or a grappling art will. Someone who trains in any of these is going to use these techniques to enter into a grappling exchange where they are on the ground fighting with the opponent. But we are not, but we're going to be using them to avoid things like that and to get away from someone. Why? Because if you don't have extensive grappling training, it's too risky to enter into a grappling exchange. If you don't know how to handle a ground fight, there's a much higher chance of you ending up in a bad spot you can't get out of. One of the things you will notice from all of these is that they're very low risk and low commitment moves that are performed at a very specific time. And while the best case scenario is that we will take someone from a standing to a laying position, that may not be what we get every time. Regardless of if we get that outcome, we're going to treat it the same, and I'll explain exactly what I mean as I teach you the moves, okay? Now, this is a foot sweep, right? This one, I'm going to show you 3 takedowns. I believe it's 3 takedowns. Yes, 3 takedowns. It's going to be a foot sweep, an outside trip from underhooks, and a blast double, okay? So, I'm literally going to have to grab a grappling dummy over here to show you what underhooks are, but actually, you know what? I think I'll be fine. So, I definitely need a partner for this, but the idea of the foot sweep, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to take my foot and I'm going to curl my toes towards my head, okay? All right. And I'm going to try and catch someone here, all right, with that. And what I'm going to do when I do it to somebody is I'm not trying to get them up at the knee, because if I get them up at the knee, there's a chance that it's just not, you know, like there's a big chance I'm not going to get it. And there might be a chance I severely injure somebody. And if you're going with a partner, like I've seen this happen before. I saw, literally I was this far away from 2 kids who were grappling. There was this one kid, he had a pretty good outside sweep like that, right? And he hit a little bit too high. He slipped upwards with it because he was still trying to get it. And he ended up pulling a kid like that, and he fell. And I still remember the snapping sound that it made, as well as the cry, the sheer terror and pain that that child was in. Poor kid. Man, you know, but, so like, you want to be careful to try and make sure you're getting here, okay? Now, when I do this, I'm not going to be able to just go and try and like, I'm not going to be able to power through this. Sweeps and trips like that can be a little finicky. Because people don't realize you need to catch somebody when they have their weight off of the foot that you're targeting. If all my weight is on this leg and you try and sweep my leg out from under me, it's not going to work. It's just simply not going to work. You have to wait until I have less weight on this foot in order to kick it out from under me, right? So what I would suggest is if somebody's that close into you, whoa, hey man, catch and push. Right? And it's going to be a little bit weird, obviously, trying to show you here, right? And I wouldn't even necessarily want to use this side. I line up like this, so I might take a small step in and catch this way and push, right? What I'm trying to do is keep him from moving one of his legs so that when he gets pushed back, there's no choice but for him to go, whoa, like that, right? That's what's going to happen. And when I do this, I'm not just going to like catch and then release. I'm going to catch and rake up here if I can, right? Again, I really need a partner to show you this effectively, all right? I'm just nerding out about it right now. I'm not telling you to go out and try this with anybody. You know, you should learn it from somebody who knows what they're, not that I don't know what I'm doing, but I mean, you should specifically, you almost got me. You almost got me. No, but you should learn this from somebody who you can go to in person that knows what they're doing, right? And you should apply it as a tactic, right? But the idea would be, whoa, hey man, hey, I don't want any trouble. I don't want any trouble. Like that, right? So you shove him after you catch that leg behind him. And what's going to happen is he's going to be shoved, his weight's going to come up, and he's not going to be able to take this, bring it back, and catch himself. This leg is going up in the air because you have caught it, right? And you're using it. So, there's an example of one. Now, sometimes you're going to hit it and you're not going to complete it. You're not going to get him to go from here to here, and that's fine. Because what you're going to do instead, right? Oh, one sec. Okay. Anyway. So, what you need to do instead, right? What you need to do instead is, I got a text from my wife, and I was like, you know, because I got something to do later, and now I'm like thinking about that thing. But what you would want to do, right, if you didn't get that, if you didn't get what you were trying to go for, right, which is to go from standing to a now level position with the ground, that's fine. Because what's going to happen is he's going to go, whoa, and he's going to stumble back. And you utilize that either A, to go forward and fight him, or B, as a chance to get away. Okay? Now, outside trip from underhooks. Okay? So, this one, right, underhooks. If you were to give me a hug underneath my arms, right? If you came in here underneath my arms so that this is where your arms were at, that would be underhooks, okay? Now, what I would do from here is I'd be like, whoa, hey man, I don't want to fight, Look, swim for the underhooks, okay? Then what I'm going to do, take this, step, all right? And I don't necessarily want to or have to fall, but what I'm doing is that. I'm here, I step, and I force him to run over that leg, okay? Now, I want to be careful if I'm doing this with a partner for the same reason, right? I have to be careful not to accidentally bend his knee in and force him that way, okay? And again, that's why I'm telling you, like, hey, be real careful and don't just do this with partners. I'm just nerding out and I'm showing you a technique that could be utilized, that I personally would be utilized. But like when it comes to these takedowns, I'm going to include another disclaimer that says, look, like, be careful with these, do them at your own risk. You should probably go to a gym where they can supervise you doing this stuff, you know? And one thing I will say is that there's certain gyms that will tell you, no, don't do that, don't do that. And the reason they're telling you is because of how dangerous it could potentially be, right? And I don't think it's a bad thing at all that gyms now, over the last 5 to 10, over the last like 5 to 6 or 7 years, a lot of gyms have become a little bit more cognizant of certain takedowns and certain things where they're like, hey, you got to be careful with how you're moving your body, dude. You got to be careful with what you're doing to avoid injuries and stuff like that. That's not a bad thing at all. But what's happening is you have certain takedowns and stuff like that that are kind of persona non grata, right? And it really all depends on what is happening when you take somebody down. Are you bending their knee inward like that? If you are, then there might be gyms where if you do that, they're going to be like, yo, don't do that. What are you doing, right? It's not that the takedown itself is not good. It's just that I guess you could say it's a little too effective in certain ways. if that makes sense. It's a little bit too effective, I guess you could say. So like you might even go places and they'll be like, no, don't do that. And it's like, well, it's not that you shouldn't do it, or it's not that you can't do it. It's not that you shouldn't do it because it doesn't work. It's that people are going to be like, whoa, dude, hey, you're going to hurt somebody, you know? And it's like, well, in this case, this guy's really trying to hurt you. So, I mean, in a street fight, who really cares if that guy blows his knee out? You know? But yeah, also, again, it's a little bit weird to try and show you on a bag, right? I just wanted to let you know about that little piece. So you swim, okay? You step, and then you come here, okay? I'm not gonna fall, right? I'm not taking this. I can kind of step and go in here if it comes down to it, right? Like I might go, I might try and hit there, but it really depends. It really depends, you know? This is, again, I wish I had somebody to show it on, right? That's why I'm a little bit weird about it, just because like there's so many different variables and stuff like that, and it would be easier for me to have somebody here to show it on you. And when I do film this, I'm gonna have to have somebody here, right? Obviously. Again, it's the same idea. You might not get exactly what you're going for with the takedown, but you might get somebody to stumble, and that's just almost as good, right? Now, blast double. So the blast double is probably the easiest to get because it's basically a football tackle. If you played football, right? You tackle people, and what you're gonna do is you're here, whoa, hey, I don't wanna fight. You're gonna change levels and step forward. Here, all right? You're gonna lead with your shoulder, and you're gonna wrap up their legs, all right? And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna run straight through them, okay? From that. You're gonna run straight through them with your upper body, you're gonna pull with your lower body, okay? Again, much easier to show if I actually had somebody here. All right, these are takedowns you can use to keep yourself a little safer. I picked them for their ease of use and how forgiving they are in the event something something not going completely right. In the context of this video, you are usually going to want to use them as a first move to gain the upper hand in the situation. Remember, it's not about hitting a really cool move and completing it. It's only about how you use it to keep you safe. Okay, so we have weapons of opportunity and environmental factors. I'm gonna run over there real quick and grab something. Don't worry, I'm here. I'm here. Oh, fuck. I needed something else, too. Shit. Ah, well, that's fine. So, in this installment, and this is one of the last ones. If not, no, it is the last one. This is the last one. In this installment, we're going to discuss two broad concepts. The first being weapons, but not just any weapons. These will be improvised weapons that are picked up and used at a moment's notice, or what some may call weapons of opportunity. These will usually be everyday items we may not immediately associate with combat. There will be multiple items we discuss with different uses. Before we go, though, one thing to keep in mind with something like this is that there's a lot of martial arts bros out there that swear that anything can be used as a weapon, and I happen to agree to an extent. You could feasibly use anything to aid yourself in a fight, so long as it was being used correctly. However, some things simply aren't worth trying to find a correct use for. Like this paper, for instance, right? I could shove it in somebody's face, and it blinds them a little bit, right? I could, but What are the odds of me actually being able to do that? Slim to none. So, what's the point? You may see some people try to use scarves like they're sticks or rolled up newspapers like they're stabbing weapons, and these are low percentage at best, so there's really no reason to put a ton of thought into them. If you could do more damage to someone or stop more damage from being done to you just by using your arms or legs, you might as well just do that. I'm also not going to be telling you how to pick up a stick and bludgeon someone with it, because you really don't need a ton of training to do that. And what I've noticed with a lot of weapons martial arts is they overcomplicate certain things with ineffective drilling. If they ever do actually spar hard with someone, they get blasted by an aggressive person. I also don't want to be the guy telling you to hold your beer or glass Coke bottle like it's a club, so you look like a moron. This is less about offensive maneuvers and more about defensive and using a weapon to set up other actions. And when I say that, right? So I have this water, okay? When I hold the water, I hold it like this. What you see from these weird self-defense gurus is they'll be like, when you're not ready to drink your water, hold it like this. Walk around with it like this. Because then, you got them, right? What's the point in that, right? What's the point in that? Readiness, I guess, but it's like, I don't think I need to highlight a ton of that. Backpack, all right? As you see, I have this. Now, yes, okay, so backpack with athletic cup. Fucking A. Trying to close this thing up. Oh, also, I was wondering what happened to my Damiel shirt. It was in my gym bag. I forgot to take it out. No, geez, this thing's falling apart. I need a new gym bag. I need a new gym bag. Anyway, so this is obviously not a school bag, but I'm walking around, all right? I'm at school. I'm a 30-year-old man, still in high school, I guess. I don't know. Oh, my coach is here. My coach is here. I'm a 30-year-old man, all right, in high school. I'm walking around. A bully comes, right? If he starts swinging at me, I might take it, come here, and then run forward with it. All right, that's a potential thing. That's a potential thing that I can utilize with a bag, right? Especially if it has books or anything like that in it, it's going to create more of something that I can use to defend myself from punches. Oh, Drago. Drago, hello. Drago, ooh, hello.
All right, guys, let's put your shoes up front. Come on.
What's going on, Coach?
Get ready for nerve night.
Yeah. I'm live on YouTube right now. I'm going to wrap it up in a minute, though. All right, buddy. Lost my train of thought. When you see a dog that big running towards you, there's a moment where you're like, oh, no. You know, but he's a really good dog. He's a really good dog. Oh yeah, so like you can use a backpack that way, right? I wouldn't advise swinging a backpack at someone because it's too big, too awkward, and it can be a little bit too heavy. You're not gonna do the kind of damage that you want to do with a backpack in the first place. And then in addition to that, I'm sitting here, right? I swing my backpack, I have to stop it, and then what? Try and swing it back, right? Or, so you guys can actually see, I swing it, it doesn't really work. I try and swing it back, like it's a little weird, you know? Someone's gonna wait for me to swing and then stop, and then they're gonna rush me, right? That's what's gonna happen most of the time. What else? Chairs. I don't feel like going over and getting the chair, so what I'm gonna do instead. This is obviously not a chair, this is a foam roller, but the idea is the same. Man, Draco's funny. Anyway, if I'm here, right, I have my weird looking chair, all right? I don't want to think of it as I'm swinging it at someone because, again, it's kind of the same idea as the backpack. And then in addition to that, like, this isn't the WWE. I'm not really trying to hurt somebody on that level. What I could do instead, though, take it and use it as a way to keep someone away. Either A, stabbing with it if needed, or B, if somebody tries to grab it. In that case, I might be able to utilize the element of surprise in that case by basically allowing them to have it, but closing distance. So if I'm sitting here, right, I'm going, okay, hey, stay away. They grab the chair. I might decide, okay, you know what? They want it that bad, they can have it. I clear it out of the way and then I close distance. That's a way that you can utilize something like that. What else? There's, not only do I have something to do later, but also there's an event coming up here. So we're like on the home stretch. I'm just gonna try and get through it as quick as possible. You know, I hope you guys are enjoying this. And again, thank you so much for being, thank you so much for the 5,000. You know, thank you so much. Whoa, 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 uh-oh, almost fell over. Is that it? Was that all I had? Was just chair? Oh yeah, the rest was environmental factors and stuff like that, like cars, doorways, obstacles, things like that, right? Cars and obstacles are kind of the same idea, except they can be a little bit different. So, let's say, right, I'm here, this is a car, again, not a car, but let's say it was a lot bigger, and there was somebody on the other side over here, okay? So, this will be the stand-in for the other person. Now, obviously, in this case, it's not a real car, so I could feasibly reach around and touch. But if it was that big as to where I had to go around, I try to go around, and this person on the other side just keeps moving to the opposite of wherever I happen to be, okay? I start trying to go that way. They move over here, all right? That's one way you can do it. That's a really good way to try and stay away from somebody who might be trying to attack you with like a weapon of some kind as well, you know? You don't always want to try and fight somebody with a weapon. In fact, you don't ever want to try and fight anybody in general, obviously. But, you know, especially if they have a weapon or something like that. What else was there? Doors. A doorway can act as a bit of a bottleneck, okay? So, if there were multiple people trying to get at me and I ran through a door, if there's 3 people, the door is this wide, only one person can fit through that door at a time. So I now have a way to guarantee that I'm only gonna have to deal with one person at a time, okay? Either that or even if it is one person, right? I'm sitting here, I'm like, whoa, hey man, hey, I don't wanna fight. I open the door, walk through it, close the door. If he has to open that door, bang, I'm gonna kick him back through the door whenever I get the opportunity. Okay. There's more to it than you can utilize, but again, we're trying to get through this. Now, obstacles, okay? This is an interesting one because it's kind of the same thing as the idea of like me and this person are fighting over an object. He grabs onto it, so I just like throw and I start punching, right? In this case, what I can do in this case, one thing that I can do, right, is I can create an obstacle that is in between us, specifically to try and get him to focus on removing that obstacle. So I'm sitting here, right, I'm at a bar, there's a chair right here, okay, there's a guy right here, he's talking, I just go, here. Now there's something in between us, okay, or in this case, right, there's this guy, here's a chair, all right, he's talking, blah, 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 blah. I put something in between us. When he reaches down to pull this and try and move it out of the way, he's taking his attention and he's putting it towards that thing. He doesn't have his attention on me anymore. In addition to that, he's using his hands and his arms, which means he's not ready to fight or to protect himself. So when he reaches down to grab that thing, there it goes. There it goes. But that was the last little bit, okay? I want to clear out. I gotta clean some stuff up as well. We got a thing for the kids going on tonight. You know, it's gonna be a fun time. I wish I could stick around, but I gotta go to my parents' house. But yeah, so I just want to say thank you all for the 5,000 subs. Thank you so much, guys. You know, I love you all. Sorry I wasn't able to Sorry, I wasn't able to do too much or too much reading the stuff here. All right, sorry, I wasn't able to do too much of that. I apologize. I just was, I was trying to get through this whole thing. DC4L says, I feel like leg kicks could be useful in the streets. Oh yeah, of course they could. Of course they could, right? The reason I don't plan on showing them in this curriculum that I have is because it can be tough to learn leg kicks like that, and this is for people who they don't have the time or the energy to be able to learn stuff like that. But yeah, so I'll go ahead. I'm gonna head out. All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate the hell out of you. All right. 5,000 subs is something that it's really big. It's really big for me, because I don't make content that is going to be prioritized by any kind of algorithm or anything like that. I gave up on that very soon after I started YouTube, and I just started doing whatever the hell I felt like. And that's not the way to get big on YouTube. That's definitely not the way to get big on YouTube. But there's a way to have a good time on YouTube, and I've been having fun with this. I've been having a lot of fun with this, and I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead. All right, and I hope you guys have a good one. Peace out. You guys have a good one. Peace out.